You're watching Alaska's news source.
And good Saturday, everyone. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Developing news this evening. The Anchorage Police Department says a collision around 1:30 this morning left 2 people dead and 4 others injured. Anchorage Police Chief Sean Case says one of those hurt is an APD officer. Case says a taxi cab and a police car collided at the intersection of 36th Avenue and A Street, and both vehicles caught fire. He says the driver and the passenger in the front seat of the cab died at the scene. And the APD officer and 3 passengers in the back seat of the cab were taken to the hospital and are being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Case added that the officer will be out of work for a significant period of time due to the injuries from that collision.
Fatal traffic collisions have been a significant concern in this community over the last couple of years, as we've seen an increase in those collisions. Anytime we have a fatal collision, it's a significant and important issue that we have. When there's an officer involved, fatal collision, and the officer's on duty, it just adds another layer of that complexity.
And according to the police department, all collisions involving officers are internally investigated in addition to that traffic investigation. The officer was on the way to a report of shots fired at the time of the collision and had the emergency vehicle's lights activated. Well, last night, Anchorage police responded to a report of a shooting in Muldoon. According to APD, happened around 10:20 near the 200 block of Muldoon Road. And when they arrived, officers found a man with a gunshot wound to the upper body. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. Police say 34-year-old Devontae Alexander was arrested at the scene. State House candidate Jose Tagley described witnessing the shooting before rushing to intervene.
When I bent the corner around the gas station, there were 2 or 3 individuals trying to hold down a suspect that had the gun. And then that's when I jumped to easy wall in to help get the gun away from the suspect.
Officers say Alexander was arrested on charges of first-degree assault. The Mountain View Public Library is closed after witnesses say a semi-truck crashed into the side of the building. It happened early this morning around 3. And library staff say there were no visitors or employees, obviously, at that time of night. The library is expected to remain closed until at least next week, when a safety inspector will determine if the building is stable. We reached out to the Anchorage Fire Department, but did not immediately hear back. Well, as we say bye-bye to July and kick off August, we have sunshine and heat. This is like Chamber of Commerce weather. Bailey Braun, looking good so far on this Saturday.
It's a beautiful day to be outside, and you know, I wouldn't mind being out there enjoying it as well, but tomorrow's really your last day to get outside and enjoy this kind of weather. And even across the state right now, beautiful sunny conditions, temperatures reaching as high as 78 degrees in Fairbanks right now, but you're seeing these clear blue skies all across the board, all across the state. High temperatures so far today, reaching up into the upper 70s in parts of the interior, such as Fairbanks, even into McGrath. Seeing a lot of 70s across the board, and if not 70s, at least into the upper 60s, like in Anchorage at 69 degrees, which is our forecasted high for tomorrow as well. We'll start to see these temperatures begin their descent as we get through this week, with more wet weather on the way starting by Monday. But at least for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies ahead for Anchorage, high temperatures up to 69 degrees. For Fairbanks, mostly sunshine throughout your morning, but we will see an increase in cloud cover just by the afternoon hours. Highs reaching up to 75 degrees. And for areas like southwest Alaska into Bethel, this is where we're starting to see the first glimpse of wet weather beginning to approach as our next storm makes landfall by tomorrow night. As we look ahead, mostly sunny skies spanning throughout your Sunday across South Central and for the morning hours across the interior. But you'll notice through the overnight hours, Sunday into Monday, that's when we begin to see that next storm beginning to approach, indicated by the green and yellow on your screen. We'll see even more of that wet weather beginning to build all throughout your Monday. So Monday is really the day that the wet weather really starts to kick off, reaching all across South Central, but even into the interior as well. For these overnight lows tonight, we'll reach into the mid-50s across South Central and into the interior, as well as for Southeast. Before tomorrow, those high temperatures reaching up to the mid-70s for Fairbanks, near 70 degrees in Anchorage, but lots of wet weather on the way for western regions of Alaska. And I'll have more details on our full forecast coming up soon.
We live for the moment. We'll take it. Thanks, Bailey. See you in a bit. Hundreds of runners braved, dare we say, the heat in Anchorage this morning for one of Alaska's oldest distance races. The Alaska Distance Challenge started and ended at the Atwood Center at Alaska Pacific University under a beautiful blue sky. Runners took on either the 5 or 10K, or for the most daring, did them both in the back-to-back and the double-up challenge with a special medal on the line. Over 30 years now into the race's life, organizer Mark Iverson says it just keeps getting better and better.
This is the biggest one yet. Really surprising. We had a lot of energy come in late. We're about even with last year, which had been the biggest one. And so I think especially this week, with the return of the sunshine in summer, it's got people coming out.
The race also continued its long-standing tradition of fundraising for Special Olympics Alaska, helping its athletes get access to the gear and training that they need. Special Olympians led the warm-up session and served as volunteers around the track.
They'll be helping with directing traffic and making sure runners don't take a wrong turn, and it's just a great opportunity for our athletes to engage.
Got to keep them on track for sure. Meantime, preparations are underway in Fairbanks for a different kind of America 250 event. That's a celebration of an alternative milestone in the fight for independence. Alex Bengal dives into what the community can expect this weekend.
On August 2nd, 1776, the newly engrossed Declaration of Independence collected most of its signatures, and organizers in Fairbanks are celebrating that anniversary Sunday with the Red, White, and Midnight Light event here at Griffin Park. Taking place behind the Morris Thompson Cultural and Visitors Center, the free event is expected to feature live music, contra dancing, kids' games, and food trucks, among other activities. Attendees are also invited to try a special raspberry beer brewed for the occasion at the nearby Humble Roots Beer Project. The event brings to fruition years of planning.
The 250 is such a really important landmark, and so it's such a nice opportunity to reflect upon what our history has looked like, but also kind of come together to maybe think about an intentional plan for the future, what we want the next 250 years of Fairbanks, of our community, to look like.
Festivities are scheduled to last from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., celebrating America's history while looking toward the future in Fairbanks. Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.